Welcome back to the channel, guys. Now today Thymesia went ahead and released a patch for its game. Now this is the second patch, and I do want to talk about console players. So if you're a console player, make sure you stick around to the end of the video so that way you get more information about your specific patch. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this is Thymesia patch 2. I want to quickly go through it for you guys. This is Thymesia's second patch, which brings gameplay tweaks, balancing changes, and bug fixes. Before we get into the video, I want to say thank you guys so much for all of the recent support lately on the videos, all of the extra subscribers that we've been getting. We're currently on our road to 500 subscribers, so thank you guys so much. All the likes, we've been smashing my goal of 10 likes per video, so thank you guys so much. I've also really enjoyed commenting and talking to you guys, whether that's on YouTube, Reddit, or Twitter. Thank you guys so much. Let's get right into the patch notes. Now, I want to quickly just go through these patch notes because I know a lot of you guys probably don't even know that there was a patch. This patch was delivered on Tuesday, October 25th. Now, what they said before they actually brought forward the patch notes are, your valiant efforts in darkness, warding the plague, haven't gone unnoticed. Obviously, that's just pretty much them saying that they've been watching, that we've been playing, and one of the biggest things is the plague. So that's probably what they're going to be talking about a lot today, or fixing or patching or whatever. We've deployed another patch to remedy some gameplay issues and fix various bugs, which are live now. This was a pretty quick update. It was a very small size. So if you guys have not yet gotten an update, you guys are very free to update it. This update also harbors an array of balancing changes, predominantly focused on plague weapons and AI, to improve your experience. We've also altered a plethora of boss attributes with the intention of refining combat. So playing so far, I'm not really the furthest into the game just yet, but when it comes to a lot of the bosses and attributes that I have been playing, I think the combat, it feels decent. I definitely think it could be refined when it comes to some of the input reading with some of the enemies, some of the bosses, for instance, and then also some of the attributes, as in like their strength versus their damage, their output, their health, those things. I'm really happy that they're kind of tweaking these and refining them. It doesn't feel like they're completely changing them, and we'll go through these patch notes so you can kind of see completely. They then say to let them know on your thoughts on the following changes, and thanks for your unwavering support through launch and beyond. I will link their Twitch, their subreddit, their Steam, and their Discord down below, just like I do with all the rest of our awesome developers. Now let's talk about the patch notes. These are the overall changes or improvements that they made to the game. There was a bug that restricted you from unlocking certain achievements. Players can now get those missed achievements by talking to Isemi. Fixed the Corvus stuck in error bug. Added an extra story note from the tutorial level to the main game, that way that it's a little bit easier to understand the actual gameplay. Added a hint next to the enemy bar when they're out of the area before starting to heal. They also have a note that just says gameplay, so I guess they just overall fixed some gameplay. It doesn't give any more description from there. Unreleased ladders will now have a different look, so those ladders that you have not yet unlocked will look different, so you don't waste your time to actually go over there. Now these next few are to different buffs and how they kind of change those. So the plague weapon blood sword damage increase effect will expire now with that buff. Beforehand it was not expiring with the buff. Offensive buffs gained by the guitar and knife plague weapon will expire correctly. Again, similar situation. The force punch plague weapon enhanced O1 and O2 will function correctly, and the flying dagger plague weapon will overwrite intercept wing talent correctly. So if you were using any of those skills or those weapons, you should be able to see those buffs kind of actually working as they were intended. So they did do a few different fixes when it comes to the levels. What they say is leave garden subquest 1 early will now unlock other levels correctly. So that one subquest will now be able to unlock other subquests and allow you to play other levels properly. Beforehand, it was blocking certain people out, those kind of things. Move the archer in the garden main level so he can't shoot you when accessing the shortcut. They also moved a semi at the end of the Sea of Trees subquest 1, so that way Assembly is now easier to spot. Some of the miscellaneous bugs and fixes that they went ahead and improved include the volume control will now affect the volume before you actually click apply, so that way you'll be able to understand how much the volume is, so you don't have to apply, go back, apply, go back. Corvus music will not be affected by that volume control. Made the elite enemy's health bar more obvious. They polished the camera control using controller and fixed related bugs. That is also kind of something that I struggle just a little bit of, is just using that camera control with my controller. Fix some typos and incorrect strings. Now here's where we get into like the balancing for the game, which was massive. I do want to add that they start to add a lot more of the damage values and the changes and those values to these, but you can see them on the screen. If you do have any questions about what those values are, you can just pause the video and just check out those for yourselves, but I will not be listing them. So to move into it, balancing, the potion recipe focus will now give you 25% more memory shards rather than just 10. They lowered the efficiency of energy restore buff from perfectionist level 2 or adrenaline level 2. Fast acting potion amount increased by 1 for each level. They also balanced the AI. Again, they didn't give any specifications to that. They lower Odor's health. Odor will now use his ultimate more often. Increase the mutated Odor health and damage. Increase the Hanged Queen's health and damage. The Hanged Queen will now stop restoring health when blood sucking animation is interrupted, which is great. Lowered Sound of Abyss health. Added hints for some of the Sound of Abyss attack. That way you guys can be able to better predict some of those attacks. Corvus boss's Hammer Plague weapon area effect now matches the special effect size, which beforehand it apparently did not match the size. You will get correct plague weapon when reaving Corvus boss. Mutated male villagers critical attack will now knock down Corvus, and female villagers crying attack will now deal damage to Corvus, which is last but not least, we have the plague weapon, which there are a lot of plague weapon buffs here. There's very limited nerfs. Really quickly, these are what they buffed. So the halberd plague weapon was buffed, the fist plague weapon, the vile blood shield, the blood strike damage from the blood sword plague weapon. They also shortened the explosion delay for the javelin sword. They increased the fist plague weapon affected area. So when it comes to the bow plague weapon, it was both nerfed and buffed. They lowered the damage, however they increased the cooldown. They also then increased the energy cost, which is a nerf. So it's kind of a little bit weird what they did with that balancing. But to continue, they then increased the shield plague weapon cooldown, the hammer plague weapon cooldown, the great sword weapon cooldown, the guitar plague weapon cooldown. They shortened the mutated tentacles plague weapon cooldown, and they increased the mutated plant, and they then increased the energy cost for it. They also balanced talent overall. Again, there's not many specifications for some of these. Then they went ahead and lowered the health and energy recovery amount from healing execution level 1 and level 2, about cut in half. They lowered the energy recovery amount from the energized claws. They also increased the efficiency of defense level 1, 2, and 3. They lowered the damage from the guiding claw level 1. They lowered the damage from the long claw level 1 and 2, and removed the bleeding effect from 30% down to 20%. Last few things, Corvus will now move forward more when performing short claws. So be careful of that if you're using short claws. It could disrupt like your range or change up the range that you're used to. Short claws will only restore your health when dealing claw damage. Short claws will only stack an offensive buff for each combo, not for each hit. So once you finish performing that short claws combo, whether it's the 3 or the 5, you will then get that offensive buff for the combo, not per hit. Last but not least, I wanted to bring forward a note that they had for the console players. Now, within this note for the console players, they said console players plus Windows 10 and GOG. You will have full parity with the aforementioned PC patch notes and more this year. Motion blur toggle and controller rumble will also be implemented in patch 1. The process of ensuring this releases on all platforms in unison is taking time. We thank you for your patience whilst we work to our intentions of a smooth release as soon as possible. This is pretty much saying that at some point within the next month and a half before the end of the year, the console players and Windows 10 players will then receive this patch and likely more as well. So if you're waiting on a console patch, don't worry, it'll be coming eventually. That's about all we have on that time. Well, without further ado, that's all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this and if it helped you out, go ahead and give this video a like. Also subscribe if you're currently not, for all the different updates, patch notes, guys, and whatnot for these video games. Without further ado, guys, I hope that you guys have a beautiful goddamn day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.